What is your favorite sex scene in the Bible?
The one when David's son Absalom overthrown him with a coup, and to symbolize his dominance decided to fuck every one of David's concubines on the roof of his house, so that all Jerusalem could watch him.
Not sure if the entirety of Song of Songs counts, but if it does, that one. There's not too many good sex scenes to pick from since it's usually only mentioned when someone does something wrong. All the good, mutually fulfilling sex in the Bible was probably just recorded as he knew his wife, and she begot a son. Whenever the text stops to dwell on it, it's because someone's raping his sister or something.
That one where David cuts off and skins 200 dicks.
Your navel is perfectly formed like a goblet filled with mixed wine. Between your thighs lies a mound of wheat bordered with lilies. Your breasts are like two fawns, twin fawns of a gazelle. Song of Songs 7:23.
It's not my favorite because of the sex, but because of the revenge. In Genesis 34, this woman named Dinah is hanging out when this dude going by sees her and rapes her. He is some prince or something and infatuated by her, so he and his father go to her father begging to marry her. Her father, Jacob, hears this and is like, she can't marry him, you all are not Jewish, but I guess I could be convinced if you and your kingdom's men were circumcised. So father and son are super pumped and go and get circumcised along with all the men of the kingdom. While they are still in pain from the procedure, Dinah's brothers go in and slaughter them. Edit, Jacob not Joseph. Edit 2, brothers not brother.
Not sure it counts as a sex scene, but there's a verse where some women reminisce about some men who are hung like horses and come like donkeys.
That one where the two sisters get the dad drunk. Their mother is still salty about it.
And when Rachel saw that she'd bear Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister, and said unto Jacob, Give me children, or else I die. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, Am I in God's stead, who hath withheld from thee the fruit of the womb? And she said, Behold my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. And she gave him Bilhah her handmaid to wife, and Jacob went in unto her. And Bilhah conceived, and bare Jacob a son. TLDR, wife and husband spice up their sex life by letting the husband fuck the maid while the wife watches. Maybe she joined in, it doesn't say.
There's surprisingly little mention of Song of Solomon in this thread.
We're reaching fetish levels that shouldn't even exist.
Obviously Lot and his daughters.
David and Bathsheba. David was the king of Israel and one time noticed from the roof of his palace a beautiful young woman bathing, Bathsheba. He has his way with her, and she gets pregnant. Problem is she is married. But it's no problem for King David, because she is married to one of his soldiers, Uriah. David tried to get Uriah to sleep with his wife, to cover up her pregnancy, but he refuses to leave his post and stays with the troops. So David commands Uriah be sent to the front lines of the battle, where he will surely meet his death. He dies. Uriah is now out of the way, they get married and Bathsheba has David's baby worry-free. And then that baby dies. But later she does give birth to the future King Solomon.
There's an old dude who had two sons, both had the same wife and both died because God didn't like them. So the old dude's daughter-in-law disguised herself as a hooker and hooked up with him without revealing her identity. She later had a reunion with the dude and had children with him. Yikes. Update 1, thanks for reminding me about third son. Since his daughter-in-law was a widow again. The old dude promised to let his youngest son take her as a wife once his son is at the age suitable for marriage. However, the old dude didn't fulfill his promise. It was then his daughter-in-law plotted the hooker plan. Update 2, thanks for all the upvotes. I'm absolutely flattered.
I mean, there's that snuff film where David sends a dude off to die so he can sleep with his wife. There's also a tale of a 3-day bestiality session where there's nothing but a 72-hour swallowing session.
The one where God kills a guy for coming outside instead of properly impregnating his brother's widow like he should.
The one where Joseph doesn't F Potiphar's wife.
I love the story about Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra. They got it on and the walls fell.
Never thought I'd consider picking the Bible up again.
My favorite one starts at Genesis 19. Sneak peek, come on guys, don't rape these angles. That's rude. Rape my virgin dater instead.
Take a moment to pity Hosea, whom God ordered to marry an unfaithful woman who would cheat on him so that she could symbolize how them damn Israelites kept fooling around with other gods. When she runs off, he has to buy her back from the man she shacked up with, because God ordered him to. Hey God, maybe you could, appear in a burning bush or something awesome like that instead. Fuck off Hosea, you're marrying the slut.
The one where the dude pulls out, and God is like, bruh. I made sex end like that so you could make more people. Then God kills him or something. It's in the Old Testament after the Torah but before Isaiah.
In the Gospel according to Mark, when the Garden of Gethsemane was raided, a young man ran away stark naked. I forgot who it was, but it is speculated that the naked young man was Mark. Edit, a word.
A man goes into a city and finds out that everyone in the city are sodomites. The city dwellers saw some fresh meat and started chasing him. The man fled the city and found refuge in a farmhouse. The sodomites from the city followed him all the way there and demanded that the head of the house release his guests so they may sodomize him. The head of the household told them that sodomy is a sin and offered a second option. He sent all his daughters and female slaves to the sodomites so that they wouldn't have to sin. In the morning the head of the household discovered that one daughter and a slave escaped from the sodomites and came home. So he had his daughter and slave killed. The end.